everybody, welcome back to Jessica's Reading Room. My name is Kim and we are here for a video book review. We actually haven't done one of these in a really long time, but the subject matter actually kind of called for it. Plus, you know what? We like to mix it up just a little bit here at Jessica's Reading Room, so we're doing something a little different. Yay us. Okay, so for this book review, we are going to be talking about Asylum 1 and Asylum 2 by, oh gosh, I'm totally going to slaughter the poor author's name, Sian B. Claven. I believe that she is a native of South Africa. And shout out to Yami for actually bringing these books to my attention. Y'all know that I have a total thing for asylums and mental institutions and psychiatric hospitals. So she saw these on Amazon and she sent them to me and she was like, you definitely need to read these. So I did. Now, like I said, the subject matter kind of calls for it just because I think it's going to be far easier for me to talk my thoughts as opposed to writing them down. So we'll see how it goes. And if you guys like video reviews, make sure you tell us about it. And who knows, maybe we could do more of these. Okay. Is it going to annoy you if I like fix my camera while we're talking? Okay, no, that's not what I meant to do. Oh, you guys. See, it's a good thing that we're not always technology based here because look at this. I'm no good at it. I'm still no good at it. And though you do realize that when I do videos, I do it without any editing because I don't know how to edit it, you know? So that's it. We're so amateur here. Oh my goodness. All right. Anyway, so Asylum 1 and Asylum 2. What I found really, really fascinating about these books is that it's just everything that you want in a scary story about an insane asylum. She definitely has them in these two books. We'll start out just by kind of giving a little background. A Nazi doctor who had been experimenting on people in a concentration camp is actually released by the Allied governments. And because of his recognized genius, is then sent to an asylum to use his skills there. The only problem is that with that happening, he thinks that he can just continue on with his experimentations like he was doing in the camp. And what I find incredibly, and this is where we have our first bit of fascination, is the fact that you start out thinking, oh my gosh, a Nazi doctor doing experimentations. Well, that's not cool. We all know that this is a bad idea. And it turns out that it is. But while you're discovering just how bad of an idea this is, you find yourself agreeing with his logic. Like because at first I was like, oh no, a Nazi doctor. Oh no, he's going to be doing experimentations. And look, I've seen pictures and videos of Nazi experimentation in the concentration camps, and it's not pretty, it's not okay, it's not acceptable in any way, shape, or form. But when you start reading about this guy and his reasonings behind his experimentation, at least in the asylum, it doesn't really talk too much about his experiments in the concentration camp, but in his experiments in the asylum, they make sense. You know, they make sense. And so like, that's the first big scare of the series, is that you find yourself understanding the Nazi doctor. And it's like, okay. So I found that was actually something that was cool and terrifying all at the same time. These books are absolutely not for children or teens, honestly, of any age, because there is some disturbing stuff in these books. That's kind of the reason why I wanted to do a video review, because I want to actually convey just how disturbing this series is. And I am going to say this because I'm going to put these down and kind of explain just a little bit my thinking behind it, because I was totally discussing it with Ivan since I finished the series, because you guys know that I am a horror freak. I don't try and hide it. It's not something that I'm really ashamed of. It's just, that's just kind of who I am. You know, Ivan loves all of his horror movies. I love the horror books. You know, we've got this merging horror fascination, and that's just it's just the way we are. So you come to our house and you see all of our weird, creepy crap. You know, it's just kind of how it is. The last thing I want is to recommend these books without giving major, you know, alerts about it, because just my luck, I'm going to say that I loved these books. Someone is going to pick them up and then they're going to come back and go, oh my gosh, you liked that? You're sick. You know, and my first reaction is going to be, well, yeah. I mean, yeah, you're right. I am kind of, but again, it's not, yes. So yes, when you're reading these, I don't want you going in thinking that this is going to be, oh my gosh, you know, an asylum story with a happy ending and, oh, just a few scary elements. No, these entire books, both of them are disturbing and scary. Trigger warning, there's a lot of sexual things. There is rape. There is, I mean, and when I say sexual things, I mean, it's not trashy romance fun sex. Okay. They're crazy people in an asylum in the late 40s, in the 70s, and in the present. So we're talking about like crazy people sex. You know what I mean? Like, if you watched American Horror Story Asylum, which I did several times, duh. You know, one of the main things that, Sister Jude, oh my gosh, it's been so long since I actually watched that series, I almost forgot her name. Oh my gosh. The main nun, Sister Jude, something that she kind of automatically assumes when they decide to bring that farm boy in was, oh, I've had a lot of success with chronic masturbators. It's that kind of sexual stuff, you know? And so again, it's not appropriate for kids at all. And if you, at the very, very, very least, if you don't like horror, you're not going to like these books at all. So I can promise you, if you don't like, at the very least, you don't like horror, you're not going to like these books. If you like psychology, you probably will. Okay. But we're talking about really blatant, dark psychology. Like, yeah. I mean, I am so afraid that somebody is going to pick these up and then they're going to come back and they're going to message me and they're going to be like, well, how could you recommend those? Only sick people like things like that. And you said that you really liked these books. You need some help, because that's what I'm really worried about. So I'm trying to be as overly cautious as possible to let you know that if you read these, you will be disturbed. Okay. And yes, I did enjoy reading them very, very much, because it had all the asylum horror scary elements that I absolutely love. However, there is a dark psychology behind it, and it is very, very dark, and it is very, very disturbing. So if that doesn't sound like something that you would like, then please don't read these. Please don't read these. I know people think that I'm weird enough as it is that I don't want you thinking that I'm even weirder. So these are not for everybody. I will say that. They are not for everybody. I enjoyed them. I really, really liked them. If at the very least you have a like of horror, yes, then maybe you will like these. And I'll give you a parallel. The movie that just came out, it's called Midsummer. It's like a remaking of Wicker Man. If you have watched that and you liked it, then you ought to be okay with these. If you have not watched it and you don't know if you like it, also be careful if you watch that, because that's also a disturbing movie. You guys, this is why I decided to do a video review, because I'm so paranoid now. Oh my gosh. But I will say that I very, very much enjoyed these books. I had never heard of this author. She apparently has an entire series of horror / psychological thriller works. They're all on the relatively small side, and I already looked a lot of them up on Amazon. They're actually also relatively cheap, especially for physical copies. So I do plan on reading more. But anyway, these two books, they've got an interesting timeline about them. I can't say too much because I don't want to spoil too much. It's definitely on the more paranormal side of things, which I love. Oh my gosh. And you've got different characters that you kind of follow, so you get to know different characters at different times. But there's also a lot of repetition. So the characters that you do meet, you get to know them a lot better. In some cases, that's a good thing, because in some cases you're like, oh, well, I kind of like that person. But in other cases, you're like, oh my gosh, this person again? Ew. And that's, but this totally scratched my horror itch. This might be my new go-to Asylum series, just because it's dark and it's macabre and it's scary, and I loved it. Oh my gosh. I mean, honestly, this series, it really was what I was looking for. I would say they should make a movie about these, but that would be really tough and it would probably have a really bad rating. So it probably isn't going to happen. But so far, if this is representative of what this author has to offer, I am definitely going to be reading more of her. She is a small author. She is a relatively unknown author, definitely an indie author. I'd never heard of her before, but like I said, I'm totally going to keep reading, and I'm going to try and put her name out there, because again, if this is indicative of her work, then oh boy, we got a good horror set that we're going to go ahead and spend some time reading. But yes, I really, really liked this series. It was scary. It was intense. By the time I was done, I just kind of sat there and I was like, okay, all right. Okay. It's sunshiny outside. Thank goodness. Okay. And when I finished book one, I mean, I didn't even finish book one before I went back onto Amazon and I ordered book two. And so I ended up, once I finished reading the series, I took a picture, I posted on Instagram and on the Jessica's Reading Room album. And Yami, who found these and sent me the recommendation, she actually got on there and she was like, you read the second one already too? And I was like, yes, they were that good. Disturbing, scary, dark, but amazing. So if you like horror, these are definitely good ones to go to. If you like very dark, intense psychological horror, I think you would go ahead and like this one. If neither of those appeal to you, then don't read these. I will admit, listen, I will just go ahead and tell you I'm weird. Yes, I probably am sick on some level. That's fine. Yes, I love the dark. I love the macabre. And that's what these are. And again, if that doesn't sound appealing, please don't read these, because they really are disturbing. And the last thing I need in my conscience is psychological scarring of all of our followers here at Jessica's Reading Room. So yes, there you go. There is my book review for the Asylum series by Sian B. Claven. I feel really bad, like I'm totally mispronouncing her name. Sian. It's probably something, not even close to that. But this person, see, there you go. So you can look at it and tell, there you go. That's who that is. I absolutely recommend it for you horror fans out there, for the dark criminal psyche fans out there. Absolutely recommend it. I believe I gave it the entire series I gave 4 stars. Just because, again, I couldn't put them down. I stopped reading a book as soon as the second one got here. Cause I don't like reading more than one book at a time. It kind of throws me off. That's just the way I am. But when the second one got here, I put my other book down just so I could go ahead and read through this. And I got through these in less than a day. They're not, look at this. They're not huge. And they're actually really easy to read. They're very quick, mostly because you're trying to get to the end of the page because you're so freaked out by it. But, it's still I really liked it. I had a great time reading it. If you want something fun that you can sit and read in the dark when you're all by yourself and listen to your house creak all around you, then there you go. That's boom. There it is. But yes, the Asylum series by Sian B. Claven. absolutely recommend it for you horror fans out there. I loved it. I thought it was awesome, and these covers are pretty amazing too. We may have to put, at the very least this one, we may have to put this in the series 2 of the Most Gorgeous tournament, Most Gorgeous cover tournament in December. So we'll see. I have this feeling this one won't get very far. But then again, we had a horror book this year, you know, in series 1 that went further than I expected. So who knows? Maybe we're awakening all the horror fans in everybody. That's awesome. We're gonna have to read more horror books. I think we should. We should totally have an online book club where we all get together and oh, we should start, because I know Becky said something about trying a read-along together. We should totally do a horror book and do it at night. Oh, that's such a good idea. Okay, all right. Whoo! It's my horror freak getting all excited about stuff. Okay, so there you go. Asylum and Asylum 2 by Sian Claven. 4 stars for each of them. A 4-star series. Loved it very, very much. Dark, foreboding, macabre. Loved it. So awesome. Now I want to go visit an abandoned asylum. Who wants to go with me? Who wants to do it? Okay, message me and we'll do it. It's a date. We're gonna go on a Jessica's reading room date, and hopefully we don't get arrested for trespassing on public property. Okay, all right, so there it is. Let us know what you think. If you have a favorite asylum, mental hospital, psychiatric ward story, make sure you tell us about it down in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. If you have a favorite horror book that you think I should read, make sure you tell us about it in the comments. Thanks so much, guys, and we will be back later with more reviews and with our monthly wrap-up videos. So everybody have a great day. Thanks for watching. Bye.